I do want to say this to the 402 who sent us a long text. I can't read the whole thing, and it's not possible. Well, it's not going to happen, but we've discussed this back even when Baylor and the rest of the Big 12 and TCU and Tech and everybody else, Iowa State, K-State, et cetera, Oklahoma State, when Texas and Oklahoma decided to leave, and what were they going to do next? We've discussed this many times before. But here, and he mentions Navy. And, of course, we've had people mention the military academies, and it's not going to happen. It's right around the Baltimore, D.C. area. We have 50,000 recruits each year. While the majority are not at the academy, they're still part of the branch and potential fans. It's no different, really, Army, Navy, Air Force, is it, than what Brigham Young or Notre Dame have as far as their base? No, I'm not talking about power and brand. As far as where they are spread out throughout the country, the world.
But I remember asking Ian McCall this years ago when we had him on the show, and he's now the AD at Liberty. But when he was at Baylor, I said, well, why would it not? Because why not add those 3 schools? Because the PR for it would be great, and you could seemingly up there, kids would maybe be more interested in taking that if they could play in a conference and win a conference title. And, Army, Navy, Air Force right now don't have any kind of realistic chance to play for a national title, but that's not really why you go there. But there's too many hoops to jump through for the Power 5 to make it worth their while, I think.
And a couple other things he said that this is interesting. People talk about school endowments because we do see that on occasion. Research money. Well, who spends more on research than the U.S. military? I read on Google that Navy spent $20 billion on tech research. Wouldn't the engineering department at Purdue want inroads to some of that money? Then finally, leaders, enough said.
Well,
all of that, check. But again, the realistic part of it, you can't ever see that happen.
Okay, if Navy was valuable, why would they need the Big 12 to be the conference where they finally found a landing spot?
Well, because the sports are not what you're not going, like you go there and you get an athletic scholarship, but if you're going into a service academy, your focus is different.
You're going there to serve the
why
country.
would you go to the Big 12?
Yeah.
And you're like, you know what? We've been independent all this time.
That's not what this says. This is the Big 12 contacting them.
Okay, well, yeah, that makes it all different. I just think that you've already gone through one round. You've added 4 schools. You got another round. We've already mentioned at least 4 schools there. You have the potential of the Pac-12 falling apart, perhaps. And the bottom line is we don't know what the Big 12 status is just yet. So, I just don't think that when you're dealing with all of those different deals and then whatever is unique to Navy, that's like the first school that pops to mind. And
that's not. This was just a suggestion because of what value they bring. I have said it. It's not going to happen.
Okay.
It's just a fan of Navy and the academies and the military academies that wanted to just say, hey, how about us? No different than we've done with Memphis or Boise State or anyone else.
I think to boil it down, everything you said about Navy is true, and they bring a ton of that other value. Like everything kind of checks all those boxes, but there's a reason that they're not in these discussions.
Right.
And, then I'm pretty sure if they wanted to be, they, would change some things up, but I think it's just kind of a different thing.
All right, when we come back.